So you okay? Aitor, if we can start today please with your team news, your injury news. I know you had a couple missing last week in Stuani and Rhodes. How were they?
All of them are ready, except Fabio and Grant, the beater. The rest of the team, thankfully, are really good. Looking forward to the game, so I'm really pleased because we've had 1 week to prepare the game here in Rockcliffe.
And I suppose good for you then having those options on the back of 2 defeats. Are you tempted to maybe try and shake things up a little bit?
Yes, I have to try to find again the best 11 to try to beat Tottenham, because we know that it's going to be another tough game, another big team on the table, another big club, another unbeaten team. So we have to know from the mistakes that we made in the past, and we have to try to win again the games, because we are playing at home and we know that we have to add points.
One thing you were famed for last season was how tight the defence was, how solid the defence was. You've obviously conceded 5 in the last 2 games, a couple of those preventable. Does it concern you at all, the manner of the goals you've lost?
It's obviously when you consider goals and those goals are coming from mistake that you can fix, for sure you have to, if not to be concerned, just to know the mistakes, to try to fix them. But again, we were playing last season against the championship teams, and we are playing against the top teams in the world. So for a reason, they are taking advantage in our mistakes. So for a reason, it's time to try to fix those mistakes in the training sessions.
You've got a couple of defenders who are waiting in the wings to get in, Espinosa and Chambers. Do they come into your thinking for this match?
Always have 20-22 players ready to play, and all of them have their chances to play, because again, now last season we had a lot of games, and sometimes I did changes because the people needed to rest, but now it's not about a fitness point of view. It's just to try to find the best 11 to play our best.
For you personally, Aitor, how big a learning curve is this point for you? Obviously, you're used to winning games frequently as a player at Real Madrid, and then obviously over the last couple of seasons in the Championship. Because you've lost the last couple of games, how much can you personally learn from this stage?
It's true, because one friend told me that all my career, after a few years, always where I was fighting to win something, or in below to be qualified for the Europa League or Champions League. And this season maybe is the first season that I am losing games, and I have to fight for other aims. But it's my first time. But again, when you have a squad like I have, where I am in the club like I am, so it's just to keep going, to keep confident, because again, I'm not gonna say now after 2 defeats that we did something wrong. I said 1 month or 2 weeks ago in this press room that I was really pleased with the work that the club had done in the summer, and for a reason is just to keep going, to know that we are going to lose more games than we lost last season for sure, but to keep calm, because we have an amazing season in front of us.
Can I ask you about Ben Gibson? I know you've spoken about him a couple of weeks ago. Just a report today that he's set to be called up by Sam Allardyce for the England squad. Do you think he's ready?
What do you think that they're going to say about a player who is playing with me the last 2 years and a half, who has improved a lot the last 2 years and a half? So if one day he goes to the national team, it would be amazing for him, and it would be amazing for the club, because he has grown up here, so it's part of this club, so it would be fantastic. But at the moment he's playing here, and he has to think that we have to win the games here, and then he can think about the national team.
If he did get the call up and he's in alongside the likes of Stones and Cahill, I suppose he can only improve and get better from playing alongside these guys.
Of course, when you have players around you as good as them, and I had experience in my career. When you play with players like them, for sure you're gonna improve. But again, now he's playing with Daniela, maybe he's playing with Bernardo, with your friend, with Callum Chambers. So at the moment he's not playing with them.
Can I just ask you finally about Pochettino? I know you guys go a long way back, don't you? Are you looking forward to seeing him and hopefully getting one over him?
Yeah, because we did the license course together, and we have a really good relationship. We had a few players from Tottenham 2 years ago, so I'm looking forward to start again. But after the referee blowing the whistle, we are not friends for sure, just for 90 minutes.
Aitor, it's the third home game. It's looking like it's going to be a sellout. What would you like to see from your team that's perhaps slightly better than they played against Crystal Palace?
I think it's just to fix those mistakes. But it's true that we've just won one game in 5, but the only game that we were a little bit lost was the last game and the last 60 minutes, because the first game we should have won the game. The second game we beat Sunderland. The third game against West Brom, it's true that we weren't better than them, but we were comfortable on the pitch, and against Crystal Palace, after the mistake, I think at least we should have drawn the game. So for reason is just to keep going in the same way, because there is not a game when we've lost 4 or 5 or we were lost on the pitch. It was just the last 15 minutes in the last game. So for reason is just to keep going, to keep playing the same organization, and again to fix those mistakes.
Yeah, so I guess against a team like Tottenham, you can't afford mistakes, can you? They're deadly.
Yes, but again, they are top players, and we have to know that one mistake in Premier League, you're going to be penalized. So for a reason, we knew last Tuesday and last Saturday, sorry, and we know that in Championship maybe you could be 10-15 minutes lost, but sometimes nothing happened. But in Premier League, 10-15 minutes lost on the pitch is 3 goals. So for a reason is just to keep going, to be concentrated 90-95 minutes on the game and try to play our best.
No Harry Kane for Tottenham. I know they've got a whole squad of quality players, but for instance, if you were missing Alvaro Negredo, that would be a blow. So is that a bit of a blow for Tottenham?
I think we would miss more Alvaro than they're going to miss Harry Kane, because they have a really good players, and they have much more players to play. They have an amazing squad, and for sure Mauricio is going to put another player, maybe not as good as Harry Kane, but the player who plays is going to be really motivated, because he has his chance. So I don't know what is better.
And finally for me, we spoke to Martin de Roon this week, who obviously played against Everton last weekend. How important is he, particularly against teams like Tottenham, who will attack and breaking up attacks? That's what he used to do in Italy, wasn't it? He was a good tackler of the ball. How important is he to you this season?
He's important for the reason we've spent the money that we've spent with him, because he's an important player, he's a good player, he's an experienced player, and for example last Saturday we felt that we need experienced players on the pitch, because again nobody has experience in Premier League, and for example last Saturday Barry played his 600 game. So adding all of us, I don't think we have 300 or 350. So for a reason, Martin is an important player, but again, it was his first 90 minutes game, so he needs to keep calm, because he knows he's important for the team.
Thank you.
Aitor, you said you know Mauricio Pochettino pretty well. Does that help give you an insight into what he might do at the weekend with the team?
Yes, but Tottenham has a clear plan. So it's a really organized team. They go to do the pressure really well. They do the pressure as a team. So they are really organized when they don't have the ball, and they are really good when they have the ball. So for a reason, it's going to be a difficult game, but it's nice to prepare those kind of games because you can do something to try to replace them.
Do you think they are serious title contenders this year?
Yes, because the last season they were close. This season they've improved their squad. Mauricio 1 more year experience, so I think they can be fighting till the end to win the league.
You were talking about getting your best 11 on the field. Do you know in your mind now pretty much which is your best 11?
For Saturday?
Just generally speaking, do you know in your mind, even if you can't get all those players on the pitch at one time, do you know pretty much who your best 11 is?
It's difficult. It's difficult because I have 22, 23 players really close to each other because I didn't want to bring an amazing player and another player not as good as him in the same position, so I prefer to have more or less the same quality in the same position. For a reason it's difficult to have 11 because sometimes on Tuesday I go to the pitch thinking about 11 and on Wednesday I change 2 or 3 because they trained well, and then on Thursday I change another 2 or 3 because I think they are better for the team, for the game on Saturday. But it's good because all of them wants to play, all of them are ready to play, and all of them are more or less the same quality.
It makes it, I suppose, more difficult for you in that respect, but when you have got players who are all of a similar ability, it often comes down to the way the personalities interact on the field, isn't it?
Yes, and sometimes you have to know their personalities, and for the reason we were speaking about Martin, and for the reason we brought players like him, like Victor Valdez, like Alvaro Negredo, like knowing that they are not living their best moments. We know that they are experienced and they can help us in other moments. So for a reason, I am pleased with all of them, and yes, it's my job to try to pick the best 11.
How important is the crowd going to be for you at the Riverside at the weekend?
Yeah, massive once again, and it was massive last Saturday when we were losing, and 3,000 people there supporting us till last second, and once again we were in Premier League because they supported us a lot the last 2 seasons, and when I came here we were 10,000-12,000 at the stadium, and the last 2 seasons, and this season most of the times is sold out. So for a reason they know how important they are for us, and for a reason we are working hard to transmit that, and we have to go together.
Aitor, could just ask about Adam Clayton? He seemed to have a bit of a knock at the end of the day.
Sorry?
Adam Clayton seemed to have a bit of a knock. He's okay, is he?
Yeah, he's okay. He trained the following day, so he's a player who can play.
Just going back to Ben Gibson, if Sam Allardyce was to ring you to ask about Ben, what would you tell him?
Everything that he's a bad player, he's a bad person. I think Gio is the kind of players who just looking at him, you can feel that he's a really good lad. He's a player who likes and who wants to improve every single day, and for reason his improvement the last 2 years and a half, and he's playing the last 5 games in Premier League, and he showed that he's experienced, and he has to improve because for me he's an important player on the pitch if he plays in the way that he's playing.
He seems to be a very down-to-earth character. If he were to be called up, it wouldn't go to his head at all.
I think he's a good character, but you know, sometimes you can drive yourself crazy. But again, that moment hasn't arrived, so I prefer to think that he's going to play amazing against Tottenham, and then he's going to play amazing against West Ham, and then what is happening is not my problem.
So when teams come up from the Championship, they often don't score a lot of goals. In that case, is it keeping clean sheets is even more important? It's a difficult balance to find.
Of course, because again in Championship we were one of the best teams, and we had the best strikers, and we arrived to the box I don't know how many times per game. So this season is going to be different. We are going to arrive less times to the other box, so we have to try to be compact, to try to be intense, and we need to try to keep a clean sheet. But again, we're in Premier League and it's going to be difficult, but again, knowing that it's difficult, we have to try to keep it.
You talked about Pochettino earlier. Like you, he came over as a young manager. How impressed have you been with what he's done during his time in England?
Yeah, he was doing a really good job, but he he came from Spain and he had coached Espanyol in first division, so it's different because I came here being as an assistant. I came to the championship, he came to a big club like Southampton, so has been a lot of difference, but it's true that he's doing an amazing job. It was a same last season because he was close to win the league, but again this season is fighting for the title.
Just finally from me, you talked earlier about, you know, most of your career you've been playing to win trophies and qualify for Europe and the difference this season. Is the pressure the same or is it a different type of pressure?
It's different, but again, it's different when you don't have the right players or you are not in the right place. But when you have the right players and you are in the right place, it's just to trust yourself, to trust your players in the way that I trust them, and to keep going because I am sure that we are going to do a really good season.
Is it as enjoyable as a coach? Or?
Yes, and especially when you are coming from Championship. So coming from Championship, you can enjoy every single season because again, I don't want to say names of the Championship team, but it's not the same. Even losing last Saturday against Everton to play this Saturday against Tottenham again, for me is a pleasure.
Thank you.